Okay. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. It's nice to be here again, and I'm very excited about our show today. We have a very special guest, and we are going to be speaking about something very interesting. Our title today is Teachers as Agents of Change, Fostering Education for Sustainable Development Goals 4, SDG 4. And with me here today is our special guest, very well experienced, which we are going to be learning a lot from, Mrs. Stephanie Odilli. I hope I got the pronunciation.
Miss.
Welcome. It's a pleasure to have you here. I am so excited. How are you doing? How are you feeling today?
Thank you so much. How do I feel? I'm okay. I feel good. I'm very happy to be here, very happy to be speaking with you and the Learnxplore team. Yeah.
Thank you.
I hope you're well.
I'm very well, thank you. I'm very well. So, right now, tell us a bit about yourself before we go into our discussion properly today.
Okay, my name is Stephanie Odilli, and I am a teacher. You know, I started off teaching secondary school, primary school, and now I teach English as a second language for 2 foreigners. And I've been doing that for the last 1 year specifically. My entire teaching career, both as a trained professional and when I began as a volunteer, is like 5 to 6 years now. Officially, I've been teaching for close to 4 years now, yes. Different ages, different curriculums, and it's a vocation I really enjoy, and I'm blessed to have the opportunity to do what I love.
Okay, so it's a passion for you, not something you just found yourself in.
No, I did not find myself in teaching. It's something I definitely have a passion for, and I went to school for it. Like, I'm happy to be a teacher. Yeah.
That's interesting. That's very interesting. So, my very first question for you, if I say the role of a teacher is to teach, I'm not wrong, but that is not that doesn't cover the entirety of what a teacher does. I want to, from your own perspective, from your own point of view and your experience, what do you think the teaching role entails, the teacher's role entails?
Okay, like you said, you're not wrong, but like there's more to it, you know. Yeah. The role of a teacher in education is incredibly important and multifaceted. So there's different sides to it. Like, teachers play a crucial role both in shaping the lives of their students, you know, and also imparting knowledge into them. So it's beyond the academic. There's also the personal development and guiding them as they grow. And, you know, there's the role of teachers as counselors as well, who help children and adults, you know, whatever level of life. And then there's also teachers as people that you share your ideas with and you share knowledge together. So all these many parts, I think, contribute a little even to who a teacher is.
A little. I like that you said a little, because, well, as we discuss, we'll find out more. But I think the teachers have a very big role to play in education. I don't think there can be education without teachers. I don't think so. So can you tell us the exact role of teachers in education?
Okay, so the roles of teachers are different depending on who they're teaching, where they're teaching, and what not. But I think that the main, maybe I'll use myself as a teacher, the roles that I have to play, and some of them include, you know, as a facilitator of learning. Like, learning can't happen if a teacher is not facilitating that, if a teacher is not saying what to learn. Like, we guide the students through the various subjects, through the lesson plans, we deliver the lectures to them. Even if the kids or the students are actively involved in what is going on, we still have to guide them to promote understanding and critical thinking. Teachers are also knowledge providers. Like, not many people come to the class because they already know everything. So if you're coming to learn something, you're coming to someone who you think will provide you the knowledge that you seek. I see teachers as mentors and role models for people. Like a lot of people I know, their lives have been shaped by one teacher from either primary, secondary school, or even university. Like somebody taught them something. And even if it wasn't a subject related thing, it's a lesson that they would never forget. You know, a teacher is also there to manage the classroom, leaving students alone to learn by themselves, work by themselves, everything might not always be the best, you know. So teachers are responsible for maintaining a positive and productive learning environment for the students. Another role of the teacher that I like is assessment and evaluation. And I know students usually don't like this, but it is a teacher's responsibility, you know, to assess where your students are, either in the lesson, after it, through homework, quizzes, exams, whatever it is. It helps for growth. The role of teacher is also to help people foster curiosity. I can remember being a student and being very curious about certain things. And if I didn't have some teachers who were able to guide me on the path I was seeking, I would have just dabbled into anything. So for me, these things are some of the key roles or key things in being a teacher.
One role that teachers in my life, teachers I've encountered, have played for me, aside just teaching and imparting knowledge, is the role they play as role models. I think Ben Carson, that his teacher had told him, it can be negative, it can be positive. His teacher had told him he's nothing to write home about. He was such a, he was not a bright student, and the teacher had just they hadn't even tried to help him or anything. That they had just given up on him, and then it was not later on that he was not able to guide himself, and with the help of his mom that he was able to develop himself, and then he now came back to school, and then he was doing very well. But the role that teacher played, that teacher had been encouraged him, told him that okay, anything is possible. I believe that it would have helped him to even find that potential, find himself much more earlier. So
yeah,
the role they play as a role, I think that's something. But
it's important. Yes, you can either make him or mar a child or a student. Yeah.
Yes. So as teachers, what are some of the challenges that teachers face in the classroom, and then just teaching as a profession? What are some of the challenges that teachers face?
Teachers face different challenges, ranging from class size. Either there's so many kids in the class you can't focus, or limited resources. You don't have the money, the materials, the tech, the classroom supplies. Another problem will be diverse learning abilities. You're in a class where you have G&Ts, you have low learner abilities, you have, kids of different abilities, and you have to cater to all of that within that time frame, which is also another thing. Not enough time as a teacher. Sometimes you have to get through so much in a 4 minutes period. And so apart from time constraints as well, there's also the parental involvement. Your parents are too involved, or they're not as involved, and there's just the right amounts that can foster a good relationship between parents and classroom management. You have to manage disruptive behavior. You have things that have happened in your class that obviously is not in your lesson plan. Anything can come up in a class which you're not prepared for, or which you had not prepared for, but you now have to handle in class. Well, yeah, so all these are the challenges that teachers face. Yeah.
So are there certificates and things that teachers can use to build up themselves to handle these challenges? Those are the challenges that are within their own control, or not?
Exactly. Yes, I like that you said that, challenges within their control, because some things, the ones within their control, for instance, classroom management, while that may not be within their control, there's also a way a teacher can be prepared for it. So you learn about handling different scenarios should they come up. You learn how to handle different types of kids. You learn how to escalate issues should it be necessary. You learn how to interface with students who are disrupting without distracting the other students in the class. There's certificates for that. For classroom management, you can learn how to deal with that. You can take certificate courses, watch videos online. For parental involvement, you just have to learn people skills, learn how to deal with different parents depending on who they are. Then there are other CPD materials. There's lots of them. LinkedIn has so many and all of that. And I think for things within a teacher's control, there are places to learn and things to learn.
So SDG4. We all know SDG4 is about quality education and all of that. Quality education, but it focuses mostly on the students themselves. And then it's just like one section that is actually dedicated to teachers, which says that is the target 4C, that by 2023 substantially increase the supply of qualified teachers, including through international cooperation for teacher training in developing countries, especially least developed countries and small island developing states. So my question is, do you think SDG4 can be achieved without teachers? Like without the help, a lot of help from teachers?
No, definitely not. SDG4 cannot be achieved without teachers because teachers play a critical role in providing education, guidance, and support. So even in a world of AI and online learning, you still can't learn online so much alone. Like I don't know many people who have learned perfect languages from, let's say, a learning app, as opposed to having a tutor that they can ask questions, they can bounce things off of. Like to see that, I'm an online teacher. I can't imagine, because I'm also learning a language as I'm teaching one. So as I'm learning French now, even if I was using an app or trying to go, different than conversing with a French person or a French teacher who can correct my grammar errors, who can put me through. So I think that teachers, they provide that support and they facilitate learning in a way that no other means or person can. You have to be a trained teacher. SDG4 cannot be achieved without teachers. Like we foster overall development with the help that we provide the students.
Yeah. I had to ask that because I've had conversations and even just researching online, and it's like a lot of people feel that there's AI, just like you said, there's AI, there's online learning and all of that. But I personally I feel no matter how advanced AI is and online learning, we still need that human interaction, because they're just like we started off saying, the roles that teachers play. And it's not just about teaching, it's just not about learning maths and English and all of that. There's so much more to it. So we're talking about online learning and artificial intelligence. And I want to ask you, how do you think technology has transformed the role of teachers in modern education?
Okay. Technology has transformed the role of teachers in modern education by enabling personalized learning experiences, for example, facilitating access to internet resources and educational resources across board, so I can figure out what is being taught in other schools and other places. The kids can go on and collaborate, streamlining administrative tasks as well. People don't realize that as a teacher, you do a lot of administrative tasks. And that can be something that, with the help of the internet, it just makes it smoother and easier. It also promotes innovative teaching methods, so as opposed to just standing by the board and saying a couple of things, everyone get out your iPad. Like I remember when we had to give our year 2 class assignments on making a PowerPoint presentation. Wow. It felt so easy. I know, because all they had to do was make the PowerPoints of what they were interested in, send it to my email. I didn't have to get so many printed devices. That I went to my email, opened it, checked everything, tick, score on my Excel sheet. And with tech, I literally assessed, scored, and graded their work. So tech has, yes, it has made it easier, and it has made teaching innovative. And I think it makes the learning experience even more fun.
Okay, thank you. So for online learning, how is, okay, we speak about online learning, but how is online teaching? Like, not necessarily having a classroom, a physical classroom where you're interacting with your students. Like, how do you foster interaction with students when you're not there, when you're all not in the same physical location?
Yeah, well, for me personally, I had to basically play games in class. I had to smile more, do engaging things with my hands, my face. I had to call someone at random to say something, because when they're all on Zoom, everyone is doing their thing. Someone's head can be down. You don't know what they're doing. They're just pressing their phone or looking at something else. And then you're pouring your heart into your teaching. So the key for online learning, online teaching for me, was to keep the class as interactive, to keep the interaction as fast-paced as possible. So essentially, if an activity would usually have 10 minutes in the classroom, I have time to go around the desk. Online, I don't have that time. So I'm like, 5 minutes, I'm counting down. They're hearing a countdown clock by the class. They can hear the tick tock, 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 tock. And then, breakout rooms helped as well. Like, basically, tech is what helped online teaching feel better, because you have an array of resources or tools to use to keep it moving. Although it can get very cumbersome, because you now have a lot to learn as a teacher to keep your students and class interested. But I think anything what doing is what doing well. So if you make your class interested and get your students to learn, get in there.
But that's also an opportunity to learn for yourself, right? Because you also have to stay relevant and learn the different tools, learn different, even educational apps, educational games that you can use, even yourself with technology gets more. I think it's a nice learning opportunity as well.
Yes.
Our next question, which I think you've already answered, is the challenges and opportunities teachers face in integrating technology in the classroom. So from what you said, I can pick out distractions as a challenge. But
yes, distractions. Another thing that was an issue for me is maintenance and support. You're having a class online, something goes wrong that you can't troubleshoot. So you have to start emailing IT or calling IT while you're on mute. And that 1 minute, 2 minutes is time for something chaotic to go wrong. So lack of support or needing maintenance support can be a challenge. Then, like I said, the technological complexity, like having so much to learn, takes time. That's time I could be using to prepare. Yeah, so that can be an opportunity I could use to do better things, with my time. And then the lack of access. So not everybody, in private schools, yes, there's access, but in other schools where learning is supposed to be automated now, they don't have the access to tools like laptops or tabs, or even the white screen board, like the jumbo boards. It's still a problem. So to me, these are the challenges. And then the opportunities are personalized learning. So students or learner can learn even when the teacher is not there, because you have everything you need. So another opportunity with the classroom, tech integrated in the classroom is the global collaboration. Like, technology enables the students to connect and collaborate with peers from different cultures, different schools, different places. I mean, I've never been in that scenario where my students have said, oh, I talked to a friend in this school XYZ, but I've watched things where that is possible, especially in the higher education, where you can work with other people in your field for more. And then lifelong learning, which I'm sure it's a phrase every person in the educational industry knows. Like, once you have lifelong learning, whatever you're selling or whatever you have is good to go.
Thank you very much. So how does teacher well-being impact their effectiveness in the classroom? Like some of the challenges that we mentioned that a teacher faces, both those within their control and those that are not within their control, how can it affect them in the classroom, and if so, how?
It can definitely affect them. Teacher well-being is important. It's like having a car you want to use to go places and the car is broken down. Like, you can't go anywhere. So teacher well-being is important, because if a teacher is not okay, students come to school and all the things that we've said that a teacher can help them with, you don't have access to that. It's a teacher's well-being impacts their effectiveness, emotional health, mental health, physical health, whatever it. Yeah, I said the teacher's well-being is priority. It's top notch. Like, it has to be perfect shape. And then I was going to give an example of when I was sick as well. You can't teach, like, you're out of school, you can't focus, like, you can't, because the work of a teacher is not for the faint-hearted. You're on your toes, especially if you have, even if it's just 5 students, like, there's a lot going on, let alone you have a full class. So all that planning and stuff, like, everything needs to be okay. And even if you're okay physically, mentally you need to be fine, because some teachers leave the profession because they're so burnt out. Different things happen. So a teacher's well-being is definitely important for learning to take place and for anything else to really go well. Yeah.
So like you said, a lot of people leave the teaching profession even when they have the passion for it. Because I wrote an article sometime last year about the global shortage of teachers, and some of these challenges that we've spoken about are the things, or some of the top reasons, from pay to support in the classroom, support from the school, like the admin, giving the teachers the support that they need in classrooms, that even physical classrooms and online classrooms. So what are some of the things that educational institutions and policymakers, the schools, can help to, how can they support teachers' well-being and job satisfaction?
Okay, I think the first thing teachers, the schools can do is to take unnecessary workload off the teachers. Some administrative tasks don't need to occur. Like, there are things that the admin staff should do. They should hire admin staff to take over that. There's, in addition to schools, giving reducing the admin work, providing them with professional development opportunities, offering mental health support. They need to be paid well. Like, teachers need to be paid well and to work in a culture that is healthy. There are some schools that are toxic, that feel like, what makes you a good teacher is by how much you can do, not caring if you're tired, if you're burnt out, and it's just not okay. Like, if you want me to put in my best, create a most conducive environment for me, pay me well. It's also a job, like, I'm not here to teach because I'm so passionate. Like, I still have to feed my family. I still have to survive in this world. Like, these are things that they can do. Like, policy makers can implement things that don't make teachers do all the work. Like, just, essentially, think of the teachers too, because sometimes it's always school first, parents first, students first, teachers first, Yeah.
I agree with you. If you want me to do my best, you too should do your best for me. I think that is what it should be. That should be the standard.
That'll be a good relationship to have. Yeah.
Definitely. So it's been a wonderful conversation so far, and I have learned so much. Thank you once again for being here. Thank you for honoring our invites. Thank you for your patience. I've learned so much, and I hope you've enjoyed your time with us.
I have. Thank you so much. I really have.
You're welcome. Thank you. So that's it for today. I hope everyone has learned something new. Remember to like, share, subscribe. Thank you for your time and see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.